Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider, drop your likes, and if you do consider, subscribe to the channel as always. So as you all do know, there has been a lot of news circulating around the media, at least in the last couple of months, in relation to Inter Milan's Mario Icardi as well. So do you think, he would be the right solution for Manchester United as well? But potentially, according, I think I updated you about this a couple of weeks ago, was it? According to the Italian journalist, Damasio, who, to be fair, is a very, very reliable journalist, especially in relation to Manchester United, and when it comes to transfers as well. And he's a very, very respectful journalist, to be quite honest. And he did say, basically, that the only chance of Icardi leaving Inter Milan this summer is through a potential swap deal as well. So, potentially, Manchester United could swap Lukaku for Mario Icardi this summer, and this is, coming from Damasio as well. So, Damasio is confident, that this will process and this will go through as well. But Mario Icardi, as I currently said, he's a very, very good player indeed. I don't really watch much of the Serie A, to be quite honest with him as well. I know he's got goals in him as Icardi. He's an efficient finisher. He has got endless potential as well. I've got a couple of reservations about, when it comes to it. I've got a couple of reservations about him, when it does come to his defensive abilities, and that's what I've got concerns about Icardi. I think some of his touches, do concern me as well. But the big question is, if he was to come to the Premier League, Mario Icardi, does he have the capabilities, to produce and deliver, the same element of the performances, that he has been doing in a number of years. Of course, he's been in Italy with Inter Milan. He has enjoyed a very, very difficult season. He's enjoyed a difficult time this season with Inter Milan as well. I think he potentially, lost the captain's armband, but there has been quite a few teams monitoring an interest in Icardi. So I think potentially Inter Milan don't want him anymore, and obviously, Inter Milan are looking for a replacement for Icardi as well. But potentially, he is 26 years of age. As Icardi, he's Argentinian, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him as well. He's obviously Inter Milan's 9th highest top goal scorer of all time as well. I think he's got a release clauses at around 110 million euros, and I think it's around 100 million pound sterling as well. I think this is now his 7th season with Inter Milan, but I think he scored over 100 odd goals for Inter Milan. Obviously, the majority of his goals have obviously coming the Serie A with Inter Milan as well. So do you think he'd do very, very well, if he was to come to Manchester United as well? Because as I did currently say, we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer. I do think we're at least 3 or 4 years off, from being that competitive elite level football club as we was under Alex Ferguson. So I do believe maybe at least in the next couple of years, our aspirations, of course, is going to be getting into that top 4 as well. But obviously, it's looking likely we're not going to have Champions League football to offer for next season. It's going to be very, very difficult indeed, to attract players to the elite level as well. But I do really, really like Icardi, to be quite honest. He's done really, really well with Inter Milan. As I said, obviously, he's a former San Pandora player as well, where I think he only spent 1 season. Obviously, he graduated from Barcelona's youth system as well, but he's a good goal scorer. But I do have some reservations about him as well. But he's done very, very well in Italy. But the question is, can he come to the Premier League and do really, really well as well? Because potentially, if Lukaku leaves, obviously, we're going to need... If Lukaku leaves, obviously, we're going to need a replacement for him as well, because potentially, the likes of Rashford or Martial, are not reliable enough, just as yet, and they haven't emulated to that kind of level as well. So potentially, we do need a goal scorer, to be quite honest. And do you think Mario Icardi, would be the right solution as well? So there has been a lot of talks about that, going on in the last couple of months. Potentially, as I did say in relation to Romelu Lukaku as well, I think from his own preference that Lukaku does actually, want to make the move to Italy anyway, because Lukaku was talking about, was it the other week, about, his dream of playing in the Serie A. I think a few teams have been interested. I think Juventus have been interested. Inter Milan have also been interested in Romelu Lukaku as well. But potentially, I think from Lukaku's own preference, he does actually want to make the move, I think, to Juventus, if Manchester United are to get rid of him this summer. Obviously, we do bet potentially, Manchester United, paid big money for Lukaku. We paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, which had risen it up to £90 million as well. Lukaku has got 3 years left on his deal. I think he's on about £250,000 a week. But for me, Lukaku isn't reliable enough. Well, let's be honest, the majority of this Manchester United squad at the moment isn't reliable enough. But Lukaku, for me, isn't good enough to play to the highest level. And I think if he was to go to Italy, he'd probably, he'd play really, really well in Italy, Lukaku. And he's enjoyed a very, very difficult season this season, with Manchester United, because we know mainly Rashford has been first choice ahead of him as well. But Lukaku, as I did say, I've got strong reservations about him. His first touch concerns me. me. He's a big game bottler and all that as well. And he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League. His goal scoring form is very, very good indeed. And he can perform better, when he's, getting that support up front. Lukaku, can look a bit more effective in that as well. But recent reports did say his agent has revealed his future is very, very open. So there has been a lot of talks of Lukaku and Icardi's potential swap deal. I think also Edison Cavani got mentioned in the media the other week as well. So potentially Icardi for me, I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you, but some of his stats, look very, very impressive indeed. He can score goals as well, but could he replicate this in the Premier League? Of what he's been doing in Italy, with Inter Milan as well, because it doesn't necessarily mean what he's been doing in Italy, he's going to replicate that in the Premier League. He may come to the Premier League and he may be a flop in the Premier League. Mario Icardi as well. So there has been a lot of talk going on about that in the media as well, and a lot of this is stemming from Di Marzio, the Italian journalist, and I always believe what he says because he's a reliable journalist, especially in relation to Manchester United as well. So I think Lukaku will either end up at Juventus this summer or probably, Inter Milan this summer as well. And other news to give you guys an update on as well, is in relation to Juan Mata. I think I mentioned this to you guys on my last video as well. Reportedly, Barcelona are in talks of getting Juan Mata on a free transfer this summer because obviously, Juan Mata comes to an end of his contract in the summer. Reports are now saying that Juan Mata would reportedly maybe have to take a pay cut, so he can, make the move to Barcelona this summer. So he reportedly have to take a wage cut in his £170,000 a week wages he's getting if he is to join Barcelona. But Juan Mata has been a good servant to the club. Juan Mata is no longer playing to the highest level, as we all know. This is his 5th season out at Manchester United, and he has lost that yard of pace. He's just turned 31 years of age as well, but he's had a fantastic pedigree in the Premier League. He's been a good servant to the club, as I said, Juan Mata. But I think he does want to make the return back to Spain because he had a lot of experience of playing in Spain, when he was a lot younger as well. He had 4 years with Valencia. He began his career with Real Madrid as well. So I think he's going to be going in the summer. He's Juan Mata, depending on if he's willing to take a wage cut on his £170,000 a week wages as well. But as I did currently say, we are expected, to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. Obviously, we know the club is still looking to get a director of footballing as well. And as I did say, that there's been quite a few candidate names mentioned. The recent name to be thrown into the phrase has been Rio Ferdinand. He did reportedly say that Manchester United are considering, giving him the role at Old Trafford, of becoming our first sporting director, reportedly. But Ferdinand has been in negotiations with Ed Woodward over this as well. Some Manchester United fans would like to see it happen. Some maybe work, but we need someone to come in, who understands the club and all that, and who understands, the club inside out. And Ferdinand for me probably, would be the right one, to be quite honest with you. But there's been quite a few names mentioned. We do know that Mike Phelan, it did say he's in line to become the technical director. But there's also been talks about Edwin van der Sar as well. The former Manchester United goalkeeper. Edwin van der Sar is currently the CEO at Ajax at the moment as well. There was a lot of talks about Paul Mitchell the other week as well. But we do want this confirmed before the start of next season as well, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing in the summer transfer window as well. And Solskjaer is going to get a spending spree of around £250 million this summer. But he wants to bring at least 5 players in. I think we're going to get rid of at least 5 or 6 players this summer as well. There's still some contract renewals to sort out. But we are in a bad vein of form at the moment. We've won 2 of our last 10 games in all competitions. Some of the blame stems from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because some of his tactics are questionable, and but the majority of the blame is on the players as well. You've got to question the mentality of them. They've got to take responsibility as well. But I think there is areas where we are lacking, and you can potentially see the deficiencies in the squad. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to buy into our history as well. So it's essential that he's going to need backing this summer as well. But as I did currently say, I still believe he's the right man for Manchester United, and I still think maybe, he can elevate this club forward, can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It depends who we can get into Manchester United in the summer as well. But as I did say, Solskjaer hasn't really got the experience. He hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, as we all know. But I won't criticise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet. See what happens at the start of next season. Obviously, see who he gets in the summer as well. And that is the most essential thing indeed. But as I did currently say, yes, so as he updated you earlier on as well, I think we definitely need a couple of additions in that midfield now. As we all know, we need someone to replace Paul Pogba. We need someone to replace Ander Herrera as well. And I think we need a centre defensive midfielder, to be quite honest with you, that's fast and tenacious as well. So potentially, as I did say earlier on, there has been a lot of talks going on about Lyon's Tango Ndombele. Now, I think Manchester United have been linked with him in the past, Tango Ndombele. It also said that Manchester City are interested in him as well. But I think a player at his calibre and level, obviously, he wants to be in Champions League football, and this is something Manchester United, are probably not going to be able to offer next season as well. Tango Ndombele, I think he's rated around 60 or 70 million pounds, but recent reports have come out. The Lyon president has come out and he's reportedly said he's confirmed Manchester United and Manchester City's interested in the player. I think there's been other clubs that have been interested in him as well, but I think from the Lyon's preference, they'd rather sanction him off to Juventus, because potentially, Juventus have got Pankitic in their team as well. But Tango Ndombele, I think, is about 5'10", or is he 5'11", so he's just under 6 foot. He is 22 years of age. He's a very, very good compassive midfielder. He can break up the play very, very well. I think he's actually I think he's a defensive midfielder, so if Man United were to have any chance of getting him, would see him as a replacement for Matic. But I think he can also play as a central midfielder as well, box to box. So he'd probably be more of a replacement for Ander Herrera, would Tango Ndombele as well. But obviously there's going to be bigger clubs at this moment in time, going in for him, so they could end up getting him. But according to what the Lyon president has said, that they'd rather sell him off to Juventus as well. So there has been a lot of talks about Tango Ndombele. I think Lyon got him permanently last summer for around, was it just over £7 million? Because initially, before he had one season on loan with Lyon as well, and he's got a contract with them till 2023 as well, Tango Ndombele. So there has been a lot of talks about him going on. Potentially as well, Bruno Fernandes. Now, there's been a lot of talks about him going on. We could see him as a replacement for Paul Pogba, because Bruno Fernandes is predominantly an attacking midfielder. Bruno Fernandes is 24 years of age. He's tied it up very, very well in Portugal. I think Bruno Fernandes has got a release clause of around, £90 million in his deal with Sporting Lisbon. I think he scored 28 goals in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon this season as well. But yeah, he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. Is Bruno Fernandes. I think he's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon till 2023 as well. But I think he's supposed to be a good player. He's actually a former Sampdoria. He's also a former Udinese player as well. He's Bruno Fernandes. But reports have been stemming from Portugal saying that Manchester United have been in negotiations with his representatives over the summer transfer. As I said, he's 24 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I think now he's saying that City are also interested in him. He also said that AC Milan have been interested in Bruno Fernandes. And obviously he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, of course, when he was younger, of course. So if he is to leave, he may want to, make a return back to Italy, Bruno Fernandes as well. But his performances have been fantastic for Sporting Lisbon as well. So he's been another potential Manchester United target. We do know there's been a lot of talks about Benfica's Joe Felix as well. He's got a buyout clause, I think, of around £100 million as Joe Felix. Man United scouts have been watching him on a regular basis, based on his fantastic performances as well, for Benfica. He only broke into the Benfica first team last year as well, did Joe Felix. But I think quite a few teams attracted their interest in Joe Felix, back in January as well. I don't think he's yet made his senior debut for Portugal, and he's tied it up very, very well in Portugal, and he's only, 19 years of age, so potentially, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. So perhaps, do you think maybe Bruno Fernandes or Joe Felix, would be the right solution for Manchester United? Maybe perhaps not both of them, but at least one of them. Do you think, one of them, would be the right solution? I think Joe Felix is mainly a winner, but he can play in other positions as well, so he potentially, is versatile as well. So there has been a lot of talks about him, going on as well. West Ham's Declan Rice has been a potential Manchester United target, as we all know as well. And I think we need a centre defensive midfield, that's fast and tenacious, to be quite honest, because for me, Nemanja Matic isn't reliable enough. He's too slow, he's too ineffective, he's also aging up as well. And I know he's an experienced midfielder, we paid £40 million for him, of course, as well. But for me, we need someone who's more mobile on the ball, better on the ball than Nemanja Matic. And Declan Rice, I think he's got them he's capable, of elevating Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years. At least I think he has got the abilities, to be quite honest, because he's proven himself fantastically well with West Ham. He's had a good season this season under Manuel Pellegrini as Declan Rice. I think he's been in the West Ham first team, now quite a few years. But he's available for a reasonable figure. I think he's available for around £40-50 million. I think West Ham, would want around £50 million for Declan Rice as well. But I think he's mainly a holding midfielder. He breaks up the play very, very well. But I think he can also play as a centre back as well. And he's got a long-term contract with West Ham till 2024 that he did sign back in December as well. He's a former Chelsea player where he actually, reason up their youth system. He joined Chelsea at just the age of 7. He was there a number of years in Chelsea's youth setup, but he got axed off at the age of 14 as well. But there has been a lot of talks about Declan Rice as well. But his performances have been very, very impressive this season. But I think he's valued at around £50 million. He's Declan Rice as well. And he's 20 years of age, so he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, to go and develop, of course, and maybe a player like Declan Rice, wants to play to the highest level as well. So it may be interesting coming to Manchester United, if Man United are willing to pay £50 million for him. And as I was saying, maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. Maybe we shouldn't spend too much money on one player, because there's quite a few players out there, as you are all aware, for a reasonable figure, of course, as well. So Declan Rice has been a potential Manchester United target as well. Do you think he'd be a good replacement, for Nemanja Matic? And we do know there's been talks, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, about Atletico Madrid, Saul Niguez as well. Now, we could emphasise him as a potential replacement for Fernando Herrera. Saul Niguez is 24 years of age, he's Spanish. I think he's spent the entirety of his career in Spain with Atletico Madrid, graduated from the youth system, and he's grown and developed fantastically well. Don't really know much about him, to be quite honest. I know he's made like over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid, but this player is versatile, he can play as a defensive mid, he can play as a central mid, he can also play on the right hand side as well, but he's going to cost Manchester United quite a bit of money. I think he's got a release clause of around 128 million. It also said that Manchester City have been interested. Manchester City obviously, going to see him obviously, as a long-term replacement for Fernandinho as well. So City want to get a midfielder or two in their squad as well, and they have been interested in Saul Niguez of Man City as well. It also said that Barcelona have also showed an interest in him as well. But we do potentially know, as I did currently say, we definitely need to get a right back in at Manchester United, as I said, because we know that Valencia is definitely, leaving the club in the summer when his contract comes to an end, of course. He's been a good servant here. This is now his 10th season at Manchester United, of course. But I think he's not even getting in the team now. I think he's still out at the moment with a calf injury, as well as Antonio Valencia, of course. So we're going to need a replacement for Antonio Valencia in that full-back position as well. So potentially for me, we need a world-class full-back as well. We also need a world-class central defender, because we haven't had a world-class central defence since we had the likes of Ferdinand and Vidic, of course, as well. And potentially, we've been monitoring an interest, in quite a few right backs as well. There has been a lot of talks about Meunier, from PSG, and he's available for a reasonable figure this summer. He's versatile as well. I think he's predominantly a right back, is Meunier, but he's versatile. As I said, he can operate in other positions, but his defensive abilities are very, very good indeed. He's highly experienced. I think Meunier is 27 years of age. I think he's tall as well. I think he's available for around 26 million this summer, because reports were saying that PSG are demanding that they want around 26 million pounds for Meunier this summer. It did say Arsenal and Chelsea were also interested in him as well. But he is a very, very good player. He hasn't obviously signed a new contract with PSG, because obviously he's got like 13 or 14 months left on his current deal with PSG as well. So maybe he may be interested, in making a move to the Premier League as well. Thomas Meunier. So he's available reportedly for around 26 million. I think he's been at PSG a number of years now. This is his 3rd season with PSG, heading into his 4th season, of course. Obviously, he's a former Club Brugge player as well. So we do know there has been talks about him as well, Thomas Meunier. So do you think he'd, fit the Manchester United agenda very, very well, if he was to come in? I know we've got Diego Dalot as a right-back as well, but Diego Dalot, hasn't really reached that level yet. He's still in the process of developing his Diego Dalot. He's only 19, 20, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him as well as Diego Dalot. But potentially, we're going to need a backup, for Diego Dalot as well. So we definitely need to get a right-back in. There has been a lot of talks about Crystal Palace's and Wan-Bissaka, and I think quite the majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see him, get recommended to come in as well. Another good thing, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer showing an interest, in quite a few young upcoming talents as well, and he showed interest in quite a few British players as well. And Wan-Bissaka's 21 years of age, one of England's youngest upcoming talents. He only broke into the Crystal Palace first team last year back in February as well. But do you think he's got the abilities, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years as well? He's proven himself fantastically well at Crystal Palace as well. So I think he's available for around 35 or is it 40 million pounds, something like that as well. So potentially Manchester United have been interested in Wan-Bissaka as well. So maybe should we get Wan-Bissaka in? And a few central defenders, Manchester United, of course, have been interested in as well. Is obviously, Toby Alderweireld. And, I really, really like Alderweireld, to be quite honest. Don't get me wrong, I've got reservations about him now. He is no longer playing to that highest level, Alderweireld, to be quite honest, because he has lost that yard of pace. He still can be a world-class central defender, can Alderweireld, don't get me wrong. I think now he's in his 4th season with Tottenham, but he's available for a reasonable figure this summer. And don't get me wrong, he's nowhere near the same calibre or level as the likes of the Koulibalis or the Rafael Varane. Varans or the Sergio Ramoses, the top class central defenders. But they're going to cost a lot more money. And Toby Alderweireld is available for a reasonable figure, of course. And I think he wants to leave Tottenham because obviously he's refused to sign a contract renewal with them as well. But yeah, Manchester United have been linked to him. We were linked to him last summer, but obviously we couldn't come to an agreement to get Alderweireld last summer. But potentially we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline as well, because the likes of Smalling isn't good enough to represent Manchester United anymore. Jones isn't good enough to represent Manchester United anymore as well. But it was a bad business from the club, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Jones a new long-term contract as well. This is Smalling's 9th season at Manchester United. This is Jones' 8th season, I think, at Manchester United as well. But potentially, we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof because I've been impressed with Lindelof's performances. This season he's really improved. To be quite honest, I think he struggled in his first season, with Manchester United, but this season he has really stepped up to the plate as well. But we need a world-class central defender, that can go alongside him as well. I think Bailly is going to be on his definitely, on his way out of the club. For me, he's too injury prone. Is Eric Bailly, and he's really struggled to get in the team, especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Solskjaer has preferred the likes of Smalling and Jones, to be quite honest with you. But for me, Eric Bailly, as I said, he's still got great potential, and as I said, I do really like him. He's been here over 3 years now at Manchester United. Of course, we paid £30 million for him from Villarreal, was it, back in 2016 as well. But too injury prone, to be quite honest. And if a new centre back is to come in anywhere, his future, could be in serious doubt. Indeed, so I can see him possibly, going in the summer as well. But as I did say, I don't think we'll get Koulibaly now anyway, because, a player of his calibre and level, obviously, wants to be in Champions League football as well. And obviously, we're not going to offer, Champions League football for next season as well. But what I said, before on one of my videos was, considering looking at the situation, we was in when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, first came in, was 11 points behind top 4. And, if we had got the top 4, it would have been an absolutely fantastic achievement, indeed, look, as I just said, looking at the situation we was in when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first came in, because we was 11 points, behind top 4 as well. But as I said, we're in a bad vein of form. We are now starting to see element of the performances we saw under Jose Mourinho, what we saw under Louis van Gaal as well. But some of the blame, as I said, is Solskjaer. A lot of it though is on the players as well. And as I did currently say, so other players are going to leave Manchester United. As I said, I think Darmian's definitely on his way out the club as well, because he's enjoyed a very difficult time as a Manchester United player, as Matteo Darmian as well. I think we did we trigger that extension, so if we can get rid of him this summer, we can cash in for Matteo Darmian. But yeah, I think Inter Milan are interested in him. I think he would make a return back to Italy, because, when he was younger, he spent the majority of his career in Italy as well. And he hasn't really been given the opportunity at Manchester United as well. Just recovered from a long-term injury as well, Matteo Darmian. I think defensively, as I said, Rojo, I think he's going to be on his way out of the club in the summer as well as Marcus Rojo, because he's enjoyed a very difficult time at Manchester United as well as Marcus Rojo. But potentially saying in relation to David De Gea now, could he be possibly leaving Manchester United this summer? Now, as I have been updating you on a regular basis about David De Gea, obviously the club have not yet come to an agreement to get him a new contract at Manchester United. David De Gea. Obviously, there's a lot of news circulating around the media saying that PSG, of course, are heavily linked with David De Gea. It did reportedly say that PSG are willing to offer him a contract worth around £450,000 a week, and I think it's a deal worth around £90 million. So potentially, if PSG are willing to offer him a £450,000 a week contract, this is obviously more than double of what he's currently on now at Manchester United, because he's only on £200,000 a week in his current deal with Manchester United at the moment. Reports were saying a while back saying that reportedly was demanding he wanted around £350,000 a week from Manchester United. David De Gea, if he was to sign a new contract with the club as well, but it reportedly said that Manchester United were not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands as well. But obviously, De Gea is becoming a liability, at the moment. He's been making quite a lot of mistakes recently, as I said. I'd be a bit harsh to say that he has cost us the top 4, to be quite honest. I wouldn't say he's cost us the top 4. He has cost us in the games, when he has been, making mistakes, but I wouldn't say he has cost us the top 4, to be quite untrue, because that is a bit harsh, to be quite untrue as well. It's just that, why we haven't got in the top 4, we aren't winning games, we're not performing good enough, we're not being clinical enough in front of goal, we're not being ruthless enough in front of goal, and we're not creating enough chances, so you can't just blame De Gea why we've missed out on that top 4 as well. But as I did say, he's made quite a few mistakes recently, and he's becoming a liability. I still don't think, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got any intentions of dropping, De Gea, to be quite honest, because potentially he's still one of the best goalkeepers in the world, as we all know. I've admired his fantastic career so far. You know, he's been a good servant here. You know, this is 8th season now at Manchester United. He's David De Gea's. He's made over 300 other appearances in all competitions. As well. I think he's made about 100 I think he's got 100 Premier League clean sheets as well for Manchester United. But based on his fantastic performances, you know, for the club over the years, you know, he's won the club's Player of the Year 4 times out of the last 5 years, as well as David De Gea. We also do know that Real Madrid have been long admirers of him as well. Real Madrid were actually, you know, on the brink of getting him, you know, back in 2015 as well. So now I've got there's a few Manchester United fans now saying basically, you know, we should drop him, drop De Gea, you know, for these 2 remaining games. And I think anywhere, you know, we should drop the problematic players, you know, give the youngsters a chance. Solskjaer, you know, since he's come into Manchester United, as he did say, you know, he's give everybody the chance, including the young players, the fringe players, and, you know, a lot of the young players have gained Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's trust, you know, to be quite anxious. So maybe we should make alterations in the 2 remaining games and, you know, drop the problematic players and give the youngsters a chance as well. But I think, you know, we should put maybe Sergio Romero in goal, you know, for the 2 remaining games, of course, and, you know, but is Sergio Romero reliable enough, you know, to become our number 1 goalkeeper? But I emphasised his performances in the FA Cup, and they were very, very impressive indeed, you know, with Sergio Romero's performances as well. So maybe, you know, David De Gea at the moment, you know, he's going through a bad period of time, and it does happen, you know, sometimes, to be quite honest. So maybe we should drop him in these 2 remaining games as well. And yeah, so we've emphasised a couple of targets, you know, that could potentially, you know, replace David De Gea as well. As you all do know, guys, you know, there was a lot of talks the other day circulating around the media, you know, about Atletico Madrid's Jan Oblak as well. 26 years of age, quite tall as well. Good shot stopper, you know, he's Jan Oblak, you know, to be quite honest, you know, he's a very, very good shot stopper as well. He's good at saving from close range and all that. He's Jan Oblak, but he's nowhere near in the same, like, elite level as David De Gea, or nowhere near in the same calibre as David De Gea. But Jan Oblak is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world as well, because, you know, he's very, very good. He keeps a lot of clean sheets. He doesn't leak a lot of goals as well, you know, Jan Oblak. Jan Oblak, though, has got a buyout clause of around £100 million in his deal with Atletico Madrid. I think he got his buyout clause increased by about, was it €20 million or something like that, when he signed this new contract, and he recently signed this new contract, so he's done the contract over Atletico Madrid till 2023. This is now his 5th season with Atletico Madrid. He's heading into his 6th season now with Atletico Madrid. Is Jan Oblak. He's a former Benfica player, but as I said, Joe, he's I think he's won about 3 major honours with Atletico Madrid as Jan Oblak. I think he's you know, I think this is including the Europa League. Also, he's won the UEFA Super Cup as well. So, and I think it's only this season, you know, to be quite fair, that it's only Liverpool's Alisson, you know, that has kept as many clean sheets as Jan Oblak as well. I'm still not sure, you know, if Jan Oblak, you know, would be the right solution, you know, to come to the Premier League, because he's actually, you know, never you know, been in English football, of course, as well. And I'm not too sure if he's in, like, the sort of same mould as, you know, if he's in the sort of same mould as City's Edison or Liverpool's Alisson as well, but he's still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world as well. But his buyout clause is around £100 million, and we're reportedly looking to trigger that, you know, obviously if De Gea is to leave this summer as well, because obviously if we can't come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract, of course, obviously, you know, want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free the summer after, and then use that money with cash in for De Gea and go out for Jan Oblak as well. So there has been a few keepers' names mentioned, you know, there has been talks of Everton's Jordan Pickford as well, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So I think it could be likely that he's going now, David De Gea. I think, you know, he maybe wants to be up there playing to the highest level. De Gea, you know, wants to be up there challenging and winning trophies, of course, as well. So yeah, so he's still under contract here, don't forget though, until the summer of 2020, and De Gea, of course, has won everything here domestically as well. Potentially, as I did currently say, I think definitely, you know, Sanchez is on his way out of the club in the summer as well, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as a Manchester United player, as Alexis Sanchez, of course, and as I did currently say, you know, he's on the decline now. He's age 30. You know, he has lost that yard of pace as Alexis Sanchez as well. And he has sustained, you know, quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player as Alexis Sanchez as well. And he's been inconsistent, you know, when he has participated, and that's not good enough, you know, for a player that's the highest player at the club. He's the highest played player in the Premier League as well. And, you know, he's in about, what, £400,000 a week, and it's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way as well. So I can see him going in the summer. It is going to be difficult, you know, to find a buyer for for Sanchez, you know, considering his substantial wages on. It may be difficult, you know, to find a team, you know, that can afford to pay his wages off as well. But he's been here about, what, 15, 16 months now, is it, or something like that as well. So I can also, you know, see him going. So a lot of players, you know, are going to leave Manchester United this summer as well. As I did currently say as well, in relation to Marcus Rashford, now recent reports have said on one of my videos before, he has now sustained a shoulder injury, so he had to come off in the Chelsea game. Did Marcus Rashford? Wait there a minute, guys. So he had to come off in the Chelsea game, did Marcus Rashford, you know, with a shoulder injury as well. But I don't think, you know, Marcus Rashford, you know, has graduated to that level yet. You know, he's nowhere near on the same, you know, calibre or level as Kylian Mbappe, even though Kylian Mbappe is younger than Marcus Rashford. But, you know, Marcus Rashford, you know, his performances have been way below par now, at least in the last couple of months, you know, to be quite honest with you. But he has sustained, you know, quite a few injuries. Now he's got a shoulder injury. There's been reports saying that he could miss the game at the weekend against Huddersfield. He's also sustained quite a few ankle injuries as well. So it may have taken its toll on him, may have had a bad effect on his game as well, because when he's playing to his potential best, you know, he likes to get them runs in behind, he's like lightning, he can score goals as well, his finishing has actually, you know, improved as well. But in the last couple of months, you know, his performances have been way below par, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, Rashford, you know, he's still a long-term solution, in my opinion, is Marcus Rashford. You know, obviously he's been in United players since, what, age 7, age 8, you know, progressed up the ranks fantastically well, you know, being in the senior squad with us since 2016 as well. So still a long-term solution. You know, Anthony Martial, he's been underperforming as well, but he's still only 23 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, Martial. But yeah, Martial definitely needs a reality check, because he was in a good run of form, you know, early on in the season. You know, he was playing really, really well with Martial, but I said at least in the last couple of months, you know, he has really, really failed to replicate that Anthony Martial as well. So he's got to step to the plate. You know, you've got Jesse Lingard, who's 27 years of age, and he's supposed to know what it's all about, you know, Jesse Lingard, you know, to be quite honest with you, but his performances have been way below par in the last couple of months as well, but it's still a long-term solution in my opinion. And potentially, as I did currently say, yes, so as I did currently say, there's nothing much more to really say, you know, to be quite honest with you. But as I did say, you know, I like Mario Icardi, you know, what I've seen of him. I've watched him a couple of times, but as I said, you know, I don't really watch the Serie A, you know, a lot, you know, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, the Italian journalist Damasio, as he updated you, I think, the other week, he's basically come out and he's basically said, you know, the only chance of Icardi leaving is through a potential swap deal. And he believes this swap deal, you know, could happen. So he basically said that Manchester United could swap, you know, Lukaku for Mario Icardi this summer as well. Would Icardi be the right solution for Manchester United? You know, would he fit the Manchester United agenda? You know, do you think he'd do well in the Premier League? You know, he's done really, really well in Italy, you know, to be quite honest with you. But if he came to Premier League, could he replicate that form he has been doing in Italy, you know, with Inter Milan these number of years as well? So could he deliver and produce the same element of performances as well? I know Icardi hasn't been great this season, of course, because he has had some bust-ups. Obviously, you know, I think he did say earlier on he lost the captain's armband as well, Mario Icardi. But he's 26 years of age and he can score goals, and we need someone in there, you know, that can score goals as well, because obviously Rashford is not reliable enough, because Rashford's still in the process of developing, and potentially Lukaku is just potentially, you know, not good enough, you know, for Manchester United as well. So yeah, maybe Icardi, you know, would be the right player, you know, maybe so. So, as I did currently say, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, is still in the process of developing, you know, rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, and, you know, obviously not on this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though when he managed the Manchester United reserve team, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, he did watch from this team at this day and age, of course, grow and develop as well, and obviously one of them was Paul Pogba and all that, but obviously Solskjaer hasn't spent all with the club yet, you know, no, it was spent in January, you know, when we had Mourinho last summer, you know, we didn't get as a number one priority Tigers, because obviously, you know, the board weren't backing, you know, some of Jose Mourinho's signings as well. But a lot of money has been spent at the club, you know, since Ferguson retired. A lot of money has been spent. Don't get me wrong, a lot of money has been spent at the club. You know, I think about £700 million being invested, you know, since Ferguson's left. For our different managers with different philosophies and all that as well. And we've been playing catch-up for at least the last 5 or 6 years now, is it, or something like that. But as I did say, to get us back, you know, to that competitive elite level football club as it was under Ferguson, I think we're about 3 or 4 years off that at least as well. I think we're at least 2 years off, you know, of graduating to Manchester City's level as well, because, you know, Manchester City have spent a lot of money, you know, they've spent, I think that alone, I think they spent 200 odd million on defenders as well. But you know, the majority of the money Pep Guardiola has spent has obviously, you know, been on that Manchester City team as well. And I think we're at least a couple of years off, you know, emulating to Liverpool's level. You know, to be quite fair, you know, Liverpool addressed their deficiencies last summer as well. You know, I think they were the biggest. I think they spent the most money last summer. Did Liverpool as well. But we've got to get the right players this summer. I do know it's going to be difficult now for us to get the players we want in, because obviously, you know, we haven't got Champions League football for next season. But as I did say, you know, we'll currently see what happens. As I said. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. So do you think Icardi, you know, would be the right signing, you know, if he was to come to Manchester United in the summer as well? So potentially, you know, see what happens as well. And I want Ashley Young to lead the club as well, because he is the factor. He's the factor at the moment. You know, he's the problem with the factor. Is Ashley Young. He needs to be dropped with Ashley Young. You know, to be quite honest, you're no longer good enough. You know, to represent Manchester United. Ashley Young, what, age 33 now, as we all know. He's age 33. Is Ashley Young, and he's nearly 34 years of age. And don't get me wrong, I admire his fantastic career at Manchester United. You know, because he's been good over the years, and he's grown, developed, and flourished. Don't get me wrong, but Ashley Young now he's too old. You know, he's past his sell-by date. Of course, it was bad business from the club. You know, giving him that new 1 year extension as well. So hopefully, you know, we can get rid of Ashley Young this summer. But he was a good winner back in the day. Obviously, we still know he's our first choice right back. You know, sometimes we do rotate him and put him. Sometimes we rotate him and put him on the left hand side as well. But yeah, he definitely needs to go as well. And you know, we have got quite a lot of experienced players. You know, we've got quite a few aging up players as well. Matic is aging up, as I said. Young's nearly 34. You know, Valencia, I think he's 33 as well. Smalling's aging up. You know, Jones is aging up now, as I said. So we have got quite a few aging up players as well. You know, Herrera, I know he's leaving, but he's 29 years of age as well. You know, Mata, 31 years of age. You know, Sanchez, 30 years of age. So we have got quite a few players, you know, that are aging up as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing to the channel, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.